The More Show is in partnership with Ozark Mountain Publishing, taking readers beyond the unexplained.
If you like what you watch, then don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on The More Show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new weekly television and radio shows.
The More Show is supported by Mindscape, Paranormal and UFO Matrix magazines, available for download on all major digital platforms. The comments and views expressed on The More Show are those of the people that make them and do not necessarily reflect the view of Kevin Moore, The More Show, or this radio station and its affiliate or sponsors. This show is for entertainment purposes only.
Hollywood actress Dee Wallace is most well known for her role as Elliott's mother in the Steven Spielberg film E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. But Dee is also a globally recognized spiritual teacher and healer. For the past decade, Dee has blended her two careers, acting, when the call comes, while simultaneously teaching the spiritual wisdoms through her life experiences. Dee is now on Skype to share with us how we can all live a passionate, fully illuminated life, one that allows you and your bright light to shine, and guiding you to your own wisdom and power. Dee Wallace, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be with you across the pond.
Across the pond. It's an absolute honour to have you on, Dee. It's lovely to have you here.
Thank you, darling.
And I can see you on the screen now. You're just there's this love coming from you. Do you know that? That's what I see when I look at you.
Oh, thank you. Really, from my heart, that's the nicest thing you could have said to me as an actress or a healer or a person, for that matter.
Absolutely. But I love your book. I've gone over your book, Bright Light. It was an amazing book as well. And I really do like the work that you do. But the actual book itself, what inspired you to write Bright Light?
Well, when you've been in hell and you come out and you find heaven, you kind of want to share it with everybody. And that's really what happened to me. I just lived in a lot of judgment, a lot of pain. I'd been hurt in the business quite a bit. My beloved soulmate and husband, Christopher, died suddenly at the age of 55. My daughter wasn't even 7 years old. And, I just kind of fell to my knees, railing at God or the force or whatever you call it. And I said, I don't want to be this way anymore. I want a way we can heal ourselves. And instantly, I became clairaudient. And the first message I got was, heal the light within you. Use the light within you to heal yourself. And that's why I wrote Bright Light, because it's been such a journey for me to realize that we literally are the ones that we have been waiting for. We're the ones that have free will to create ourselves any way we want to create us. And it's up to us, and we better get busy doing it if we want the lives we want, which we do, right? So
okay,
that's why I wrote Bright Light. I wanted to share my message. I mean, there's great stories in it about my career and all the great people that I've worked with. But interwoven in there are the life lessons that I really took out of my career that have changed my life.
Absolutely. And, just going back to, some of the darker times as well that really triggered you to have this sort of shift. I mean, it's those times that really, whether it's relationship breakdown or, whatever it may be, that really push it into a situation to say, well, what if? What if there's another way of being? But for yourself as well, I suppose there was a lot of negative connotations as well there. I mean, when you were raised, I suppose if I'm right saying this, that there was a lot of, don't go too far, don't think too big.
Oh, big time. Yes, I was raised in a very humble, AKA poor, family. My father was an alcoholic all my life, ended up committing suicide when I was a senior in high school. And I remember exactly my mother's words. She had always encouraged me to be an actress. She actually bartered services so that I could get speech lessons and dance lessons. And yet when I was ready to go off to New York, she said, Deanna, you can do anything, but do it in Kansas where you're safe. And that's very much a message that we all get, I think, is you can be anything you want to be as long as you do it in a very small way where you're very protected and safe. And, big, joyful, amazing creation isn't safe. It's
No.
Step off and fly and see what you can, manifest for yourself.
Well, that's part of the problem, isn't it? We're taught to find something that we can make a kind of living, or to be at least be able to pay the bills from, and then kids come along, which are important, but then it's all about the kids, and it's that kind of mentality where it's never about us anymore.
Yes, and I think that would be the biggest cornerstone that I teach. Is we just have to get back to loving ourselves and serving ourselves first, coming forward for ourselves, embracing our power, and doing what gives us joy. If we live in those principles, we can pretty much create anything.
Yeah, and this is what your book's about as well, and there's so much to sort of get through here as well. So I suppose you went on to is that right, that you left Kansas and went to New York at around 27 and decided to go into teaching theater?
Well, no, I taught theater in high school before I left, and
Okay.
I thought if I'm ever going to do this for myself, I've got to get the heck out of Kansas, right? So I had never been out of Kansas before in my life. Now, if you said you were going to leave at 27 to create an acting career, people would laugh at you, because if you're not somewhat successful by the time you're 27, then the chances are against you. But I didn't know any of that. So I naively tripped off to New York by myself. Loved every moment of it. It's a wonderful story. I had actually written to Hal Prince, who is one of our biggest Broadway producers, and I had seen the New York Times in the library at the college, at the high school that I was teaching at. And so I wrote him this very cheesy letter, sent him even a cheesier picture, and said, oh my gosh, just think, casting an unknown in what was to be a little night music. And think of all the publicity, Mr. Prince. Oh my God, it was so cheesy, this letter. And 3 weeks later, his assistant calls me back and said, Mr. Prince got your picture and letter, and he would like to fly you to New York to audition. Now, I'm not a real blonde, but I was raised to be very truthful, and I was so naive. And I said, oh my gosh, that's so exciting, but I'm coming to New York anyway. I've already got my ticket. And there was this long pause, and she said, well, what day are you coming, dear? And I told her, and she said, well, that's the day Mr. Prince would need you to audition. And I said, oh, well, what time are the auditions? And she said 4 p.m. I said, oh, well, I land at 12. I wouldn't want him to spend the extra money. I could have gone first class and the whole thing. So the day I arrived in New York, never been out of Kansas in my life, I took all my belongings, everything I had, put them in a taxi cab, gave him the address of the apartment that I had rented, and blithely tripped off to audition for Hal Prince. All my stuff got to the apartment. I got down to the last 5 girls from the dancing and the acting. And then they said, all right, Mr. Prince would like to hear you sing. And I went, oh oh, nobody told me I had to sing. And they said, well, dear, it is a musical. So the day I arrived in New York and auditioned for Hal Prince, I sang Happy Birthday not very well, I'm afraid. But by the time I left, I had a singing teacher. I knew where to study acting at the Berghoff studio. So I was on my way, I thought. And, 5 years later, I was starring in the biggest blockbuster of all time. And that's a pretty rapid rise in my business.
Absolutely. But you would say as well, I mean, from researching you as well, I'd say this, that you're very much in the moment actor as well.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I'm in the moment person. I'm in the moment liver.
Yeah.
And I know now that is so important in the creation process, is to stay in the moment. Because when we go into the past, we start living out our fears. And when we go into the present, we start living out our doubts. And when you hold yourself in the moment, which is the only moment that we create in?
Yes.
This moment right now is the only moment that you create in. So if you stay in every moment and keep creating in every moment, you create exponentially faster what you want to manifest.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you there. And, you've worked, I mean, I've got to mention this, you've worked with quite a few directors that are in the moment. And, of course, one of them is Steven Spielberg, a very much in the moment, spiritual, I would say, director.
Absolutely. The brilliant thing about really great directors like Spielberg and Blake Edwards that I did 10 with, Joe Dante, Peter Jackson, who's done all the Lord of the Rings that I did the Frighteners with.
Of course.
All of them, in all the projects that I did with him, literally would see something in the moment and go, oh, okay, we're not doing that. We're not doing that now. We're doing this. That big close-up that I have in 10, for example, was never supposed to be there, but Blake turned around and saw me really emotionally being affected by Dudley, who was playing in between setups. And Blake said, bring the camera over here, let's light this quick, we're gonna shoot Mary Lewis, listening to him play. The same thing happened on E.T. After the breakfast scene, where I go over to the kitchen faucet and turn around into that big close-up and say, he hates Mexico. That was all in the moment, improv, because of the emotion that hit me when he said, Sally, Dad's in Mexico with Sally. Yeah. Stephen went, oh, I got to expand that moment. Good creative people, of which we all are, right? We all are creative. Yeah. We're all creating our lives, consciously or unconsciously. We're all creating our lives. But really consciously creating people, stay in the moment and see the infinite possibilities in every moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think it was inside the Actors Studio, one of those episodes where I was watching an interview with Spielberg, and he did mention, that, someone asked him, do you believe in UFOs and aliens? And he said, of course I do. And, then it just resonates with all his movies, especially with E.T.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
with E.T., this was a movie that was, at the time, I would say it was a global phenomena. I mean, it still touches the heartstrings of everyone that watches it for the first time and again. If I watch it again, it's still a great movie.
And I have 3-year-olds coming up to me going, E.T. Mommy, E.T. Mommy. There's a whole new crop of fans that are having their hearts touched by E.T. But interestingly enough, E.T. was the closest representation of what extraterrestrials really are reaching out to do. I do a lot of work with Dolores Cannon.
That's right. I know Dolores very well. She backed our show. She's the one that's made this show possible.
Oh, really? Well, she's amazing, isn't she? I do workshops with her, over here. As a matter of fact, the workshop that I will be teaching on the 13th in London is my half of the workshop that I just taught with Dolores over here.
No, yeah, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
According to Dolores's work, she knows unconditionally from all of her hypnosis work that extraterrestrials are here to love us and help us and guide us and encourage us toward healing ourselves and loving ourselves, which is what E.T. was all about.
Well, apparently it was true. I don't know whether there was some truth in this or not, but it sort of made the circus for a long while. That when Reagan got to watch the E.T. movie with Spielberg, he turned around to Spielberg and said, there's more truth in this than you think.
Oh yes. But I think, I know, Melissa Madison, who created this amazing scripts like this, and it happens often in Hollywood, where creative people channel the truth,
yes,
and bring it out for the masses so that they can start laying the groundwork to shift the frequencies,
yes,
around it, so that they are more open and acceptable of the information. And it's interesting to me how many of us want to gravitate toward the fearful messages toward extraterrestrials, which really, I think, addresses the fear within our own power, about our own power.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sometimes the easy route to go down, isn't it, than to love ourselves, which is the very hard thing that we're probably partly here to do, but we do find it difficult. And we'll get into more to this as well. But just going back to E.T. as well, finally, I mean, at the time with the global phenomena, I suppose you would say that your life wasn't as fulfilled as it could have been. And sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth here, but I know with the passing of your late husband that this was the trigger point for you, like you've mentioned before, to open up basically.
Yes, as many wonderful, incredible things that E.T. did for me, it was also a catalyst that plugged me into all the limiting messages that I got as a child. So here I am, not even 5 years in the business, and exploding across the world in this film that is enraptured everyone. And all of a sudden, everybody knows who Dee Wallace is. And the message that I was given when I was little is don't ever go too far, too fast, never be big, never say you're good, and never accept anybody else saying you're good either. Nice little girls don't do that. I think that's a universal message that we're given. The humble inherit the earth and all that. And I'm here to tell you that we're here to understand and practice and know how to develop our power in the creation of energy. If we do not take the responsibility that we were given to direct our own energy, we will absolutely be directed by all other energy.
Okay.
Our fears, our genetics, our mates, our teachers, our religions, everything else. If you don't create yourself, you become the created upon.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're just going to take a very quick break, and we'll be right back after this short break.
The Moore Show is in partnership with Ozark Mountain Publishing, taking readers beyond the unexplained.
Visit themoreshow.co.uk/shop to purchase products and services from your favourite past guests. If you're new to this site, you can also catch up on the previous television and radio shows through YouTube and the Moore Show website.
The Moore Show is supported by Mindscape, Paranormal and UFO Matrix magazines, available for download on all major digital platforms. Broadcasting from the studios of Radio Cardiff, you're now watching The Moore Show.
Welcome back to the show. I'm still currently joined by Hollywood actress, healer and spiritual teacher, Dee Wallace. Dee, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks.
Dee, one of the quotes that I've got here is from Steve Allen. Steve Allen was quite inspirational to you, I believe. He quoted, every morning when I get up, I do what I want to do. I create which way I want to go today. Now, excuse me if I've got that a little bit mixed up there, but I think basically what he was saying was you create the you that you want to be in the present moment.
Well, yes, and why it affected me so much was that he did everything. He wrote, he was a comedian, he was into politics, he was a painter, and he said, you don't have to choose one thing to be in this life. Just get up every day and go, what do I want to create me as today? And that opened a whole world of possibilities from my limited little Kansas mind. Because I was taught, you grow up and you decide what you're going to do. In my case, it was a teacher. So I went to school and I got my degree and I taught a year of high school. And I went, wow, is this all there is? And if the answer was yes, and you're really happy, Dee, just doing this, then that would have been great. But for me, it was, no, this isn't all there is. I want to dance, I want to sing, I want to act, I want to explore, And when I read about him and his biography and that statement, it was like, oh, I can do it all. I don't have to limit myself. I get to get up in the morning and go, wow, what do I feel like today? And I think that the feeling is so important, and we're never taught that in the creation process. How does it feel? How does it feel to already have and be what you want and who you want to be? What does that feel like? Because when you can feel into it, you can create it. And I'm sorry, I'm in the channel and they keep yelling at me and I've never had this information come through before, but they keep yelling at me that there's something that the extraterrestrials, I feel kind of silly because I've never had this before.
No, go ahead, please.
They want to bring through a message, and I'm supposed to ask you for a song.
Okay.
Any song that comes in.
Okay. What they're asking for? Sorry, you want a song in the ad break?
Just any song that drops into your consciousness.
Okay.
I'm working with my pendulum here.
Okay, well I'll do that in the ad break. I'll choose the one that I think everyone's going to like.
Right now, just anything that comes in.
Okay. Well, right now in this very moment, it would be. Let me just tune in as well. It would be a Carpenter song is coming to me for some reason. Don't you remember? I think I can't remember. It's a Carpenter tune that I'm playing in my head for some reason.
Okay. Well, we're just going to take the words "Don't you remember," and what they're saying is, okay, we have to define ourselves before we can create ourselves. In other words, if I get up and say, oh my God, I'm so tired, then I will have to define my energy as tired because I have directed my energy to do that.
Okay.
Are you understanding? Are you with me?
Yes, I am actually.
Okay. If I had to say I am an actress before I became an actress. So we have to define who we are, and then the creation of it comes to us. But we have to say I am that and commit to it before that happens.
Yes.
What the message that's coming through right now is, you all know, remember, they've all been with us before. We've all had dealings with them either in this lifetime or other lifetimes before, but we have to say that we remember. And then they can be much more present, and their information can be much more present through our channels. So literally, we're being asked to say, I am a person who remembers, hold on, I'm waiting for the words. Those are the highest words. My dealings. Ha! And they want to add through love, because everyone will feel safer that way. My dealings through love with the extraterrestrial world and all the gifts that it has to offer.
Well, it's, I mean, that's the whole reason why, part of the reason why we're doing the show as well, is to explore those possibilities. I mean, you look at life on the idea of life on other planets, and it's like, well, I wonder if they've, how they do it, and spiritually, can involvement take place, and what direction is the human race going to go in? Do you know what I mean? Where are we heading towards?
Whichever way we want it to go.
Whichever way we want it to go. That's right.
That's why Einstein said the only thing you really have to decide is the universe hostile or is it friendly?
Yeah.
Because all of your belief systems then stem from that belief, and you literally create the perspective that you want to see everything through. And as you believe, it's going to be delivered to you that way, baby. So it's so important to literally define how you want to believe. And it's the hardest concept that people can wrap their little brains around, is there isn't a right or wrong. There isn't a way. There isn't an answer. The whole creation process is, what do you want to believe? Who do you want to say you are? And are you willing to know that the universe will come in and create that with you?
Yeah, and well, thank you very much for that channeled message. I do appreciate that. I think what's important with what you're saying is, rather than saying, I will have money, or I will be happy, or I am a model. You are what you want to be now. You have to say, I am that now, not I will have that.
Absolutely, because you've got to claim. And see, we've all heard ask and ye receive from the good book, but ask in the original Hebrew was claim or demand. So if I'm asking for something, I'm saying, this is mine. And that's a whole different powerful connotation than, gee, could I, if I'm worthy and if I'm humble enough, and if I work and if I struggle hard enough, please, could I have this, please? That's a very different energy than, no, I am claiming this on behalf of myself and everyone through love. I am powerfully claiming this for myself now.
Absolutely. And oh God, there's so many ways we can go from here as well with your work. Do you think sometimes?
Yes, there is.
there really is. And I'm sorry if some of these questions you've probably been asked 1,000 times. But there are a couple of things coming to my mind in the sense of. You mentioned before that you were. Well, I think the words were that. What is the, well, you mentioned the I am principle, and what is the I am principle as well?
Well, okay, not to get too religious, but God said, I am that I am. I have to say God if I'm going to be God. I have to say, let there be light, and there's light. right?
Right.
And so we go through life going, oh, well, it's not okay to ask for money. You're not a nice person if you ask for money. You're not a religious person. You're not a spiritual person. You're not a powerful person, whatever, We're taught not to ask for what we want. From the time we're little, we're going, no, you don't want that. No, don't ask for that. No, it's not okay. You don't ask for the toy. That's not nice. And so we get to 21 and we go, why the heck can I create my life? I can't even ask for what I want because by this time, they really have me convinced that I don't know. And I'm saying if we don't know, we cannot create. So we all know we love money. We love money. We all know that we're happier when we have more than enough money. So why don't we just say, I'm creating my life with more than enough money, and I'm doing it in integrity, and I'm doing it in love, but I am powerfully giving all my joy in my service and receiving all the compensation of energy back called money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I can literally in a workshop, Kevin, get somebody up and go, what do you want? I've never met him before in my life. What do you want? Well, I don't want to worry about money. Okay, what do you want? Well, I don't want to be so stressed out about money. Okay, what do you want? This can go on for 20 minutes until finally they get so frustrated, they go, geez, I want money. And I go, thank you. That's all you had to say the first time. But we are trained not to say what we want. And it comes from a deep belief that we really don't know. And if you cannot say what you want, you cannot create what you want.
Yeah, and also as well, I think your work talks a lot about that you can manifest whatever it is you want in your life. So I suppose we have to be careful of what we attract to ourselves. But it all comes down as well to that we are this. There's no separation from God in a sense. We are that energy. We are that energy of.
Well, there's only one energy.
Well, that's right. Exactly. So if we give ourselves the power back to say, look, I am a God. I am God in a sense, yeah. Then you give yourself your.
Nobody can think a thought for you, hold a perspective for you, make you do an action that you don't choose to do. You are the God over your own creation.
That's right.
And therefore, you are the God of you. And the God is out there going, okay, I'd like to help you out, but you got to step forward. God helps him who helps himself. So choose what you want, dude.
Yeah.
Claim it. Feel it. Be joyful about it, and let's get on with it. That's what you're here. That's why he sent you here. So you can master this.
That's right. And
oh my God, it's so joyful, you guys, when you get there.
Yeah, and that's right. It's a fun process. It doesn't, it doesn't need to be. Life doesn't need to be so hard sometimes. I know that we can't avoid pain, and we transform pain, but it doesn't always have to be so difficult, does it, Dee?
Well, it can't be. Creation is easy, and again, back to making your choice in every moment. Nobody can take the choice of you being joyful away from you. Nobody can say to you, you don't get to choose your reaction to this. You are always a choice to do that. And when you empower yourself and parent yourself to go, oh no, I will not think that thought because that thought makes my blood pressure higher. And that thought doesn't support me in loving myself. And I know that loving myself is the biggest thing I can do in the creation for everything that I want. Oh no, I will not think that thought, Deanna. You get back here and think a thought that supports what you want. And that's what we have to do. Blame your parents for who you were, but blame yourself for who you are.
That's right. And change can take place in the moment now.
Like that.
like that. That's right. That's right. And but
right now, you can decide to powerfully create you in joy and love. Right now.
But do you think, though, that sometimes there's addictions to saying that you want change, and getting halfway there or almost there to shift, yet there's something that goes on where you don't feel you're worthy enough to carry on with that change, and it never happens, and then you go back to the drawing board and say, well, okay, I want to reinvent myself as this now. Again, you get so far with it, and you never sort of see it over. You never see the completion of it.
Well, yes, because you never change the primary thought that no matter what you do, you're not going to get it because you're not worthy. So you've got to shift that belief and that perception of yourself. And that's why loving yourself is so important because, really, the people we love, we want to be with them. We want to give them time. We respect them. We honor them. We want to hear what they have to say. We want to exchange joy with them. We want to feel sexual, which is the energy of creation itself. And yet, how many people can say that's a relationship we have with ourselves? Oh my God, I turn me on. Why not? I'm the greatest thing I have to be with. Let me turn myself on. Let me want to be with myself. Let me honor myself. Let me have fun with myself,
So let you love yourself more than anyone else can love you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why we love to be in love, Kevin, because when we're in love, we get to see ourselves through their eyes.
Yeah.
And we go, oh, wow, I can feel me being loved. I know I tell this story a lot for the people that have heard me, but it's so incredibly important to me. My older brother is my soulmate. And I was speaking to him on the phone one day, and he was really lamenting his life, and he'd come upon some hard times, and he said, Dee, I just wanted to give you so much. I wanted to give you so much more. And my heart just filled up, Kevin, because I said to him, don't you know that just being in my life has changed my life? Just being here with me and loving me has made my life happier. And when I hung up, the channel said to me, when you can look in the mirror and say that to yourself, then you will know you have arrived.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, and I can see that you're a bit upset there. So, well,
I'm not upset. My heart just bursts with love.
Yes, of course it does.
About it because it's such a universal truth, and that's what E.T. was saying. You have to keep your heart light on.
That's right. That's right.
You have to stay in love in order to get home.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're just going to take a very quick break, and we'll be right back after this short break.
The Moore Show is in partnership with Ozark Mountain Publishing, taking readers beyond the unexplained.
If you like what you watch, then don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates on The Moore Show. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new weekly television and radio shows.
The Moore Show is supported by Mindscape, Paranormal and UFO Matrix magazines, available for download on all major digital platforms. Broadcasting from the studios of Radio Cardiff, you're now watching The Moore Show.
Welcome back. I'm now joined by Hollywood actress, healer and spiritual teacher Dee Wallace. We're live and the lines are now open for you to call and speak to our guest to share your opinion. Don't forget you can call us on 0292 000 3666 or text your questions and comments to 07728 758 759. Dee, welcome back.
Thank you.
Dee, just before the break there, one of the questions I wanted to ask you as well is we've talked about the importance of being grounded, manifestation. You are your own source of power. But don't you think that there's a lot of limitations that go with some other religions, though, that sort of man has sort of limited what he can manifest as well? I mean, does
absolutely,
yeah,
without a question of a doubt. You see, if we would take the original message, it's very empowering. But what happened is politics and religion, those many years ago, came together and they said, well, we can put it in a form that will serve us so that we can hold them down and we will feed them the beliefs that we want them to have. It's still going on today. We're just more aware today and not. So if you take the original message, these things and more will you do also. This is how powerful you are. Go create. That is the empowering message. That's the truth. Then along came religion and politics and said, well, yeah, but we can't get their land that way. And we can't get all their goods that way. So, we can't tell them the truth. We have to start creating untruths that support our better interests. And really, we all kind of let them do that. So again, if you are not consciously creating your life every moment right now, you are giving away your power of creation. And then you're blaming it on somebody else so that you don't have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
And, bottom line, you don't get the life you want and we don't get the world we want. Because every time we clean up our own energy and move forward powerfully into love and creation, that energy goes into the collective consciousness. And when the majority of the collective consciousness, or the 100th monkey theory, goes into place, when the majority of the collective consciousness goes, it is possible for the world to live in love. It is possible for this world to feed itself. It is possible for us to live in peace. When the majority of the consciousness believe that, it's an energetic law that it has to shift like that then. And I'm testing it, we're very close. We're very, very close to that happening. And so what happens then, the people who are not believing go, well, let's create more fear. Let's create more bombings. Let's create more terrorism to see if we can take them back to that belief that is not true. But we can get them focused on that, and then they don't create what they want again.
I so agree with you. You've hit the nail on the head. It's that political connection connected with religion that kind of destroys the message of love, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
I've traveled all over the world doing movies.
Yes.
All the people are the same. The people want peace. The people want love.
That's
the people
right.
Want creativity. And joy. All the people are the same. And so that is my message. When are you going to be powerful enough to know that you can create what you want? Because until you know you're powerful enough to do it, you will not, and the world will not shift in the miraculous moment that it can.
And also don't get too addicted to the negative news sometimes. I mean, you can't, not to ignore it, I'm not saying that, but just don't get, transform it in a sense. That's, I suppose.
Well, yes, but you see, you can't transform it if you look at it and go, this is the reality.
Right.
If you want to create the life you want, you have to look away from what we call reality. Go into your imagination and imagine the world you do want, the life you do want. And it may sound Pollyanna, and it may sound like BS, and I'm telling you, That's how you do it. You look away from what appears to be reality into the world of all possibilities that you want, and you go play there.
Okay. Well, we've had a few text messages come in as well, and this one's got no name on, but it's some guy from Slough, about one of the towns near London, and he's talking about forgiveness. So I thought, well,
Yes.
that's a great subject which you cover as well.
It's a great topic. And you don't forgive people for them, you forgive people for you. Because if you don't forgive, they own your energy. And that's where your focus goes. And all that focus and energy is used then and not used to create what you want. So forgive everybody, guys. Make that your first quest in life. You know, when you go to bed at night, go, okay, who do I get to forgive today that's going to open up my power and my joy and my creativity more? Who am I honored to forgive? Because that is how I'm going to make my life exponentially better and really create what it is that I want. So forgiveness, absolutely. You want more money? Forgive. You want a healthier body? Forgive. Because if you don't forgive, it literally congests your energy. And when your energy doesn't flow, creation gets thwarted.
But is it to forgive? You have to be in that place where you're ready to. What if someone's not ready to?
No. That's the way we give ourselves an out, Kevin.
Right.
You're always in the place where you can choose to forgive somebody. You are always. It's not a long process that you have to work through. It's a choice in the moment. And if I said, okay, if you can choose not to wear red, you'll make $1 million in a week. Well, you would choose not to wear red, wouldn't you? Mm-hmm. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm saying, if you can choose to forgive everybody, you can increase your abundance exponentially.
Do you think as well that some people are addicted to the feelings of always me, I don't want to forget that memory. It gives them some sort of strength, for some reason to sort of hang on to it as well, to always relive that memory in their head?
Well, fine, but I'm asking them, great, how's that working for you?
Exactly.
It's just another excuse, another finger point that you choose to hold on to that says that's why I can't get on with my life. And I'm saying to you, it's BS. Don't do that to yourself anymore. Love yourself enough to know that in an instant you can go, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. It breaks my body down. It pushes money away from me. It keeps me from divine, beautiful, amazing relationships in my life. I'm not doing that anymore. I am not being a victim anymore. I am bloody well deciding to be a victor and create my life in every moment. And that is brilliant.
Oh, Dee, I wish there was more actors like yourself. And, it's such good work that you do. It really is. And what you've got to say, it really does make a lot of sense, and people listen as well, because you must know that because of your stance in the industry as well.
Well, absolutely, and you heal by the essence of who you are, not the role you play. But I can tell you, people have tripled their income. People are happy. We have a gentleman who's cured himself of AIDS through this work. We have many people, and I'm not a doctor. I only work in the energetic field.
Yeah.
But you clean your energy up, you clean your body up. People are off thyroid medication that we're told they'd never be at. We're curing migraines. One of my clients just called my show that I did right before this, and she said, Dee, I used all the principles. Everybody said, oh my God, the housing market is so hard. We sold our house in 15 hours. Done.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
So again, as you believe,
Yes.
it's delivered to you. And the more joy and love you live in, the more you free up the flow of your energy to be directed toward what you want.
Well, it seems to me as well, just from your energy, that you live by your teachings as well, which is always nice to see.
It would be hell if I didn't. And let me tell you, do I go into hell? Absolutely. We are practicing the conscious creation muscle, if you will. Like a dancer or a ball player, you have to build up your muscles so they always respond to where your body wants to dance or the ball wants to go, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing with consciousness right now, is I'm learning to think consciously, I'm learning to hold my focus, and I'm learning that I have to and want to and choose to do it 24/7 so that I walk the talk of creation.
Okay, and then another text as well from, I think it's Sarah. She's asking about gratitude as well. She said, I've read your work and you talk a lot about gratitude, and that was one of our questions as well, actually. So with gratitude, is that part of conscious living as well?
Well, of course. I mean, we either take things for granted or we take things in gratitude. When I do my walk with my dog in the morning, I call it a gratitude walk. And Savannah and I walk and we go, oh, thank you for that butterfly that just went by. And thank you for the blue sky and the beautiful flowers that are around us. And thank you that we have each other to walk with. Every day I stop and go, okay, in this moment, I'm in gratitude that I get to spend this time with you and your listeners, and that we can come together in this powerful moment to decide that we want to live in love and joy. I mean, I'm in great gratitude that I do the work that I do and that I have the channel that I do that never is wrong, that never guides me wrong, that always can go into, which we do in the workshops. We do a lot of individual work. This is the belief that's holding you up. And this is why you're blocked, because of that perspective. Choose this perspective and watch your energy flow again. And it's just such empowering, joyful, amazing work. And I feel very, very blessed and in gratitude to do it.
But Dee, isn't it amazing as well, talking about gratitude and sort of leading on from Sarah's question as well, isn't it amazing that when you look at the world with different eyes, the world looks back at you differently, in the sense of,
Absolutely.
When you're just grateful for the things that you have in the present?
Well, yes, because you're seeing the world as a world who's giving you beautiful things, instead of seeing the world as a world that's trying to take advantage of you and not delivering the desires of your heart. You see, the perspective that you have on the world, the way you see the world, is the only way the world can deliver back to you. So it's imperative that you choose to see a world as the world you want to relate to you and interact with you. And that's a choice again. Do I see the world as hostile, or do I see the world as friendly?
Absolutely, and I'm sorry to everyone who's texting as well. And I know we're just down to our last couple of minutes here with Dee as well. So, and that's sort of, I'm going to have to get into your current work as well. Just tell us a bit about where you're going to be over the next couple of months. And I believe part of it's Comic-Con as well. Is that right?
Yes, the London Comic-Con, Friday the 5th through Sunday the 7th. Lots of sci-fi people, lots of movie people. We're there to talk, sign pictures. I just came out in The Lords of Salem, Rob Zombie's new film. So there'll be a lot of pictures, and all of the witches from that will be there. And then, of course, I'm staying the week and teaching this amazing workshop at the College of Psychic Studies on Saturday, the 13th. From 10 to 5. You can sign up on my website at iamdeewallace.com. I believe it's on the first page to sign up. Or you can call the College of Psychic Studies on Queensbury Street and sign up there. Very reasonable, priced very reasonably. I absolutely guarantee that you will leave truly empowered after this workshop.
Okay, so we'll put all those links onto our website. I think the Comic-Con was
lovely.
that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I think the Comic-Con was the July the 7th as well.
Yes.
And just as a final message to the audience, what would you like to leave with the audience as well, please?
Love yourself, guys. Just love yourself. Get up every morning and go, I rock. I'm freaking awesome. How can I love myself more today? And you watch your life change. It will, for the better.
Well, Dee Wallace, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to get you back on.
Thank you. Lovely to have been with you. Great interview. Thank you, Kevin.
God bless you. Okay, well, we've come to the end on tonight's show, so don't forget you can catch up and listen to all past interviews on the More Show official YouTube page and the More Show website, which is moreshow.co.uk. Do like us on Facebook for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.
Visit themoreshow.co.uk/shop to purchase products and services from your favourite past guests. If you're new to this site, you can also catch up on the previous television and radio shows through YouTube and the More Show website.